This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the new Full Battle Rattle studios.
Maybe I should ask some of the Badger women's hockey team, those champions, maybe I should ask them if we should be suggesting to GOP leaders they need to learn how to fight like a girl.
Fight like a girl. Sarah Palin said it and did it in her political and personal life. Some do it in the ring. None better, perhaps, than the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. And we had such a great response to our first show on Glow that we're doing some more, starting today with legendary pro wrestler Hollywood. Jeanne Basone was Hollywood for Glow and part of one of the best tag teams in Hollywood and Vine. Today, Hollywood joins us to talk about her amazing career, and she gives her take on Glow being back in the headlines thanks to a new Netflix series, a popular documentary, and most of all, demand from the fans. Glow is back, and Hollywood is coming up on the Palin Update. Plus, we'll have the latest national and Alaska headlines in Sarah Palin news. We'll visit the Crow's Nest with Tanya Crow in California, and a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert is coming up from Texas. Kelly Carlson is on assignment, no on target this week. Looking forward to Kelly's return. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio, available at mamagrizzlyradio.com and now available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. The Palin Update is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/fullbattlerattle.abq. Today, Jeanne Basone is our guest, the woman who wrestled for Glow as Hollywood. She has a great story, and she has a lot to say about wrestling, the new Netflix series based on Glow, and much more. And right now, we welcome Jeanne Basone to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Hollywood, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's exciting to talk to you. Huge Glow fan, as a middle schooler, I guess. I think we were 12 during the first season. And I tell you what, we had everything. The magazines, the VHS tapes, the posters. But the best memories I have, and I can't wait to talk to some of my friends that are lifelong friends that I'll tell them that I talked to you. But I remember vividly at my friend Archie's house in New Jersey, down in the basement, us just watching Glow at a sleepover while his mom's telling us to go to bed already. And I remember it was an episode, I think y'all were like on jet skis at one point. So,
oh my goodness.
I can't even remember if that was really part of the thing, but, we loved it.
You must have been watching. You weren't on jet skis. You're so funny. That's great. I love you guys are on jet skis. That's lovely.
It was funny, though, because at first it came out, and I don't know, at least as 11 and 12-year-olds, we thought it was great. And we were fans of the men. We were fans of the WWF, and that was the heyday of that, as far as I'm concerned, with Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper and the guys that we liked. We had all the figures. We had it was crazy. It was the best time for wrestling, I think. And
I think you're right.
And then Glow shows up, and we were looking at Fabulous Moolah for years, and then all of a sudden these girls that were like, oh, hey, look at these girls.
Hey, what's this?
Yeah, how about this? So, first of all, I want to ask you this, and I've asked some of your Glow counterparts this same question, but I want to hear from you, too, because everyone's had a different background. So, how did you get into it? How did Hollywood become Hollywood? Were you more of looking to act, or how did you get into Glow?
Well, I always wanted to be in entertainment, and I just happened to be registered with this casting agency. And mind you, I had a regular job. I'm working in the medical field. But the casting agency called and said, hey, we have an audition for a sports show. They didn't tell me what it was. I go, what is it? We don't know what it is. Just go down. It's at 6 o'clock and go down. I'm like, okay, well, I play sports, so this will be perfect. So I went down there, and pretty much like the way that it is, there was a bunch of girls all there. David McClain comes up and says, hey, we're going to be doing a pilot. It's going to be an all-women's promotion of women's wrestling. And when he said the word wrestling, the girls kind of I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about wrestling. I have no idea, but I'm going to hang in here. I'm telling you, half the girls laughed. They just grabbed their headshots and their little portfolios and walked out the door. But I stayed and I auditioned. And basically at that point, anybody who wanted to learn how to wrestle could do it. So, they just wanted people to show up. I showed up. Mondo Guerrero was training. I knew that they needed 12 girls to do a pilot, and then they were going to try and sell it for TV, for syndication. I happened to be one of the 12 that they kept, and they called my character Hollywood, which is part and half the tag team of Hollywood and Willing. And we did the pilot. I quit my job. Actually, we did the pilot. We sold it to TV in 1986 for syndication. Left my job in the medical field drawing blood and started drawing blood really in the ring afterwards as a bad guy.
You stole my line. I was just going to say that. I said you went from drawing blood to, am I going to be the one bleeding? But
yes, exactly.
Wow. So what a switch for you, and then you're off and running, and then here you are a few seasons in, and the thing takes off like nobody could believe, and you're in magazines and you're everywhere, and people couldn't wait for Glow to be on. Again, speaking from experience, we loved every minute of it.
Yeah, it was great. And then there was TV too. Married with Children happened to love Glow, and so the two executive producers picked The Farmer's Daughter, they picked Hollywood, and they picked Big Bad Mama, and they wrote a script around us, which was amazing. So if we hadn't done that show, I wouldn't be a Screen Actors Guild member or after member, but there were shows that loved us and put us on their shows. The interesting thing was our show was non-union, okay? Those shows were union, so you were on contracts when you were working with the union shows. Glow was not, so it was, non-union. We had workman's comp in case we got hurt, and knock on wood, and I'm still knocking on it, I did not get hurt in my 4 seasons of Glow. I saw lots of girls get hurt. They were in and out,
Well,
but being an athlete, and just you have to be in shape, and it was a lot of hard work. Let me tell you, it was not easy.
Well,
black and blue, going into work every day. Learning.
Whole different thing, but then the popularity, I guess, helped you pull through, and speaking of popularity, Glow now back in the headlines big time. Of course, there was the 2012 documentary about Glow, and a lot of you spoke in that, and it was great to see where the women are now, and most of you doing very well, which is also great to see because we have seen and we know Mountain Fiji's had her problems, and that's health that would have happened no matter what profession she was in, and
That's right.
and also as far as Matilda, and she's older, but the rest of you, seem to really have had a lot of success, and that's a lot different than what we've seen from, say, the men who've wrestled and other leagues. So that was nice to see because when I first watched that film, I said, "Oh, how sad is this going to be? What is everybody okay?" And y'all come on, and everybody's happy and said it was a great time and it was 4 great years, and I said, "Wow, that that makes it still be a good feeling for everybody all around." So that was good to hear.
Exactly. You want to hear something positive. Besides negative.
And now
there's so much out there. You'll hear this person's on drugs or this person's addicted to this, and their pain is, because they're in so much pain, they are addicted. But I am not one of those people that are addicted in that form or way. It doesn't come out that way for me. I'm opposite. I'm going to stay in shape, eat well, and but when you're young, when you're only 20, that's way different. You put 12 girls, 30 girls together and have them wrestle. Some of them are catching colds. Lightning and I used to tell all the sickies to stay in the back of the bus, even though she was we did. We're like, all the sickies in the back. Her and I would go and work out and try to eat better and stay well when we were on tour. Even though we're supposed to be hanging out with a baby face, we were pretty good friends. So we hung out a lot together.
And here you are, decades later and still friends. That's the coolest part.
Oh, my God. Isn't that great? It's one of my best friends. Absolutely.
Now, you look at Glow. We talked about the movie, but now a new show on Netflix. The Glow wrestler's not involved in it. It's a drama, but it is based on Glow, and people are looking at it and looking up the real gorgeous ladies of wrestling and finding out about you. So, I don't know, Hollywood, you got a whole new fan base now, possibly. My kids, 9 and 6, they are into wrestling now, and I tell you what, I can't wait. I've talked to them about Glow over the years, but I can't wait to show them some of this. They're going to go nuts. My daughter especially, and my son, he's going to love it too.
Oh, I love it. What's really nice is this is Glow Netflix. It's loosely based. that's it. It has the concept. It has a lot of similarities in it. What I think is wonderful is for them paying tribute to our legacy, because in a million years I never thought that what I did that many years ago would be happening today. And, if you're 30 years and under and you didn't have brothers and sisters or mom and dad who were into it, you have no idea what it was. You won't know. You have to go look it up and go, oh, my God. So this new show coming out, gives us, it just pays some great tribute to us. And I think that's wonderful. Regardless if it's good or if it's bad, it's a positive thing. And I am writing. I want to tell you this. I've got this bio, and that's almost done. I want to have a Christmas release. So I'm excited about the book. As you guys know, also, Dee Brewer, Matilda Hunn, wrote one, and hers came out last year. So, I'm going to be adding to that. So I'm looking forward to it. And it's not an easy task, let me tell you.
No, it isn't. For a non-writer, I mean, we had Lenny Dykstra on here, the great New York Met and Philadelphia Phillies player, and yeah. he tried to have a ghostwriter for his book, and then it didn't work out. He goes, I'll do the thing myself, and he said he almost lost his mind. He was like locked in a room like Beethoven for a few weeks and months.
I have a ghostwriter too, but it's not easy. So,
right.
My God.
Well, we're looking forward to that. That's something we'll have to have you back on Christmas time and talk about that.
Oh, I love it. I'd love it.
So, as we said, most of the Glow Girls seem to be doing well, and a lot of them were in that movie, and a lot of them are doing a lot of media right now because of the new show. Yes. But some of them we haven't heard from, at least on a national level. And, of course, you were the great solo wrestler as Hollywood, but you were part of one of the best tag teams in Glow history of Hollywood and Vine. Do we know what Vine is up to?
I wish we did. She left right at the end of the second season. I have no idea. And I think this is what I think, because everyone asked me, where's Vine? Well, Vine was from Canada. So she might have had issues of being in the country. What if she had to get back? There's visas and stuff that happen when you don't live here or you're not married. I don't know. Never got a hold of me ever again. Wow. And that was kind of sad, real sad, when you're, sleeping in the same room with someone, doing sketches together, doing tag team matches together, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And so... And then I think there are probably some people who do not want to be found.
Well, that's
My
true.
Sister,
that's true.
She doesn't do social media, and that's their prerogative. And so then there's that. I just hope she's well and happy.
Well, you know what? You never know. Through this resurgence, some of those who, have been lost in the shuffle along the way, maybe they'll reach out to you, if not publicly, maybe in private.
Beautiful.
And that would be great. Vine, we want to hear from you. Say hello to Hollywood. We got to get you two back together. And, I know you're not more, we do a lot of politics on this show. We're talking wrestling tonight, but, you never know. Well, you said she's from Canada, so Hollywood and Vine 2024. I don't know. That would be something else, right? Vote for us or else, right?
Yes.
Now you've had great success after Glow, and as a lot of the women have, and you could just tell talking to you, you love life and you do a lot of great things. So tell everybody what you've been up to and what you're doing now, and about your website.
Right. So I have a website. It's Hollywood WOULD Productions.com, and when Glow ended, I continued. I'd worked with a lot of independent wrestling companies, and I started my own, hiring my own girls, my own cameraman. We would shoot videos, so I continued to stay in it. Then I started doing some stunt work with Lightning. Lightning got me into that and helped me get along with that. And then the book that's coming out, you can find me on social media at Glow Hollywood, that's your Twitter account. I have Hollywood Productions, which is my Facebook account. So I just stayed busy. I stayed in the game wrestling because, you know what? I loved it. But I will say, can I just say this? Young kids, if you're thinking, oh, my gosh, I'm 19 or 20 and I want to do this, go for it. Definitely go for it. But please, why don't you have plan B? Go to school and, learn a little trade, learn something else. You can wrestle, but then you can go back, and do something else with your life as well. So I always think that's, after 50, you're like, oh my God, hitting the ground doesn't feel so good anymore. It's a little longer to heal.
Well, it's great talking to you, and it was a wonderful.
Thanks for having me on.
It was a wonderful league, a wonderful show, and
Thank you.
You have fans to this day. There's no doubt about it. And you're going to get some new ones, and
I hope so.
like I said,
that would be awesome.
When I map out this whole glow thing for my kids, I'm going to say, and we've talked to a lot of glow girls here, so no offense, but Hollywood was my favorite wrestler, and we all had our favorites, but Hollywood was the best. I mean, you would just come out and everybody would kind of stop what they were doing and watch that match. You captivated people. You did.
Oh, Kevin, that's very sweet. Thank you for having me on, and thank you Netflix for making this new Glow show. I think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be a season 2. I'm into number 6 right now, so I see number 2 coming, and maybe some cameos with the girls. You never know.
Well, we look forward to that, and we will take a look at the show and want to get your take on it, and certainly look toward Christmas time with that book. That should be very interesting.
You. Oh, yes.
For more on Hollywood, visit HollywoodProductions.com. That's Holly, WOULD, Productions.com. Now it's time for Sarah Palin News, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. A Nebraska Democrat says the unthinkable about Steve Scalise. Johnny Depp offers a quote-unquote apology after joking about a presidential assassination. Palin applauds Trump for keeping a campaign promise for veterans. Trump and Palin call for the wall to be built. Dissecting Dennis Rodman's trip to North Korea. A double dose of bad news for evil Planned Parenthood. Hillary Clinton stealing someone else's line once again. A player is recruited for college, and his age is less than double digits. Perhaps another Supreme Court justice vacancy coming up. Despite what the media says, we are one nation. Let's celebrate together this 4th of July. Show your pride. Go to Merchful.com/celebrate together. Palin's definition of all lives matter. The left goes bananas after the president makes a certain move on the golf course. A tip of the hat to Thomas Sowell, and conservatives are cheering the first dissenting opinion written by new Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch. To read about all of these stories, visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety and to read her devotionals, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page, follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA, and don't miss the new sarahpalin.com. Now let's head to the crow's nest. Here's Tanya Crow.
Thanks, Kevin. So I really wanted to address a very specific topic this week concerning the differences between how the left and the right act politically is very apparent when it comes to liberty versus equality. These are two virtues or qualities that I think are held in high regard by the two sides, and it makes for a very different experience and a very different perspective in how we can ultimately treat each other as human beings. History has shown how communism and socialism and the collective and the virtue of equality in the end becomes incredibly inhumane. And so much of the left cries out for equality and how important that is. But yet, when it comes to relating to people as individuals, I noticed that there's a lack of that. And it reminded me that I heard one time of a cop who was being given riot instructions in their training. And they were taught that if somebody was out of control or acting in a irrational way, you need to try and find out their name, use their name when speaking to them, so that you create a connection, an individual connection between you and that person. And he was saying how effective that was and how it ultimately calmed people down in such a profound way and in such an immediate way. And I think that that is such a strong example of how important it is to remain connected to people one-on-one, and that the idea of liberty is just that. That is a huge difference between liberty and equality, because liberty, the virtue of liberty, the desire for liberty is based on the individual, maintaining the individual within the group and nurturing that and making sure that that becomes the foundation of the group, and that virtue is the grounds for a much greater compassion-driven society. So when people speak about unity and love, I think that it's very important to not forget how important the individual is to that desire and drive. And I think that that's a conflict on the left, because they have in their mind this utopian society of unity and love that they pursue, but it's based in an ideology of equality versus liberty. So here's to liberty. This is Tanya Crow with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tanya Crow on Mama Grizzly Radio. More from the Crow's Nest next week.
Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
What comes around goes around. What a great week. The Convention of States Project announces that former South Carolina Senator Jim DeMint has joined the organization as a senior advisor, just like former Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn. Then the crush on Democrats in Georgia and South Carolina, with 2 Republicans winning, which, by the way, makes us 5-0 since Trump won the presidential election in November for special elections. If this is what winning looks like, then I'll have a second helping, please, and a third and a fourth. I know that President Trump, when he was candidate Trump, said, we're going to win so much, you're going to be sick of winning. I have to say, nope, I will never, ever get sick of winning. I love winning. I am a winner. And anyone who believes in America and wants the best for her and our citizens is automatically a winner, too. Note to Democrats, you're losers. Losers. America's biggest losers. In fact, the American people have been telling you over and over again since 2010 what we want. You aren't listening. And now it's not our problem. Too bad. It is your job as an elected official to listen to your constituents and listen to the people. You are losing because your pride has now become so big and so deep that you refuse to believe that someone outside the Beltway might actually be smarter than you, have a better idea than you, or be more in tune with what their community wants than you. Right now, basically everyone is smarter than you. So if you want to stay relevant, which actually you're already on the road to irrelevance, you better start listening. But hey, if you don't want to be relevant, don't change. Keep Nancy Pelosi as your arrogant House Minority Gal and Chucky Schmucky Schumer as your Senate laughingstock, and you will be flushed down the toilet of old political parties. I guess you'll be just like the Whigs and the Democrats in the same sentence. But just when we think there couldn't be any more good news, there's more. The Senate Judiciary Committee announced that it has sent investigatory letters, including one to former Attorney General Loretta Lynch. These letters, signed by the committee's bipartisan leadership, demand answers and documents related to the 2016 investigation into Hillary's private email server, especially reports that Clinton campaign operatives expressed confidence that Lynch would keep the investigation from, quote, going too far, end quote. What could that mean? Could that be collusion from the AG, between the AG and the Democrat Party? No. But what about the meeting with the Attorney General and Bill Clinton on an Arizona tarmac, talking about golf and grandkids? Well, maybe they were just talking about their strategy for selling their Arizona beachfront property. I don't know. This from a New York Times report in April that not only had Lynch told then-Director Comey in September of 2015 to refer to the investigation of Clinton and her staff as, quote, a matter, end quote. But the Justice Department obtained a Russian document in March of 2016 showing that, quote, a Democrat operative had expressed, quote, confidence that Mrs. Lynch would keep the Clinton investigation from going too far, end quote. What? Hillary? The Russians? Tied together? Tell me it isn't so. It's just a crack-up because everything they are trying to accuse President Trump for is actually a distraction to hide the fact that this is what the Democrats have been doing all along. But wait, there's more winning. Also, Bernie and his wife Jane Sanders have now hired defense attorneys amid an FBI investigation into a loan that Jane Sanders had obtained to expand Burlington College while she was its president. And yes, CBS News, one of the alphabet media networks, confirmed that this week. Not the righteous Bernie Sanders, man of the working people with 3 houses. I'm sorry, does anyone believe his wife had the chops to run a college? Really? In the same way that Michelle Obama was a hospital administrator? Please. I mean, you got to hand it to the Democrats because they will so pick up the slack for their losers and people who know nothing and have no skills just to pay them off and feed them until the time is ripe for them to use them. So this Bernie Sanders thing, Jane Sanders, comes from a January 2016 complaint accusing her of distorting donor levels in a 2010 loan application for $10 million from People's United Bank to purchase 33 acres of land for the college. According to Politico, prosecutors may also be looking into allegations that Bernie Sanders' office inappropriately urged the bank to approve the loan. I love winning. I can't help it. Winning is awesome. What we are witnessing right now is the crumbling of the progressive house of cards. Suddenly, when their magician-in-chief is no longer controlling the magic and the spells, everything is crumbling. This audience now can see right through the sleight of hand, and all the tricks that were up the sleeve are now falling out at will. This is the tip of the iceberg, folks. Remember, icebergs are much deeper than what they appear on the surface. You can ask any one of the handful of Titanic survivors to tell you the truth about that one. The unfortunate component in all of this is the fact that Democrats have set up the progressive bureaucracy at the federal level like a cancer that has now been in remission. But with the Democrats out of power, the cancer now returns, and the unelected bureaucrats who think they were put there to control the federal government are now trying to prevent the Trump administration from actually governing. And I think, though, that Speaker Ryan and Senator McConnell are doing a pretty good job of not governing or leading as well. So between them and this federal bureaucracy that's just this cancer deep state, we've got to get rid of all these creeps. How can you really screw up the full repeal of Obamacare? It takes like 2 sentences, right? The single biggest issue in 50 years that every single Republican right now in the Congress has campaigned on since 2010 is the full repeal of Obamacare. And now they can't get it done when they have control all branches of government. I can't even ask what's wrong with them anymore because it wastes time from us getting to the heart of the matter. And the heart of the fact is that D.C. will never fix itself. It cannot. It will not. None of those men or women will relinquish their power ever. This is why Senator DeMint and Senator Coburn came to work with the Convention of States. America will only be fixed with solutions from outside the Beltway. And that fix is using the Constitution to save the country and to return to self-governance and give the power back to the people and strip D.C. down to its nothingness. You can join me at conventionofstates.com today. Our goal is to have 10 million grassroots activists by the end of this year. We're a quarter of the way there now. Let me know if you join me this week at Tamara Colbert, hashtag Mama Grizz Radio. The founder's vision was to never surrender our sovereignty, and the people apparently have no plans to do so, and I love it. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more liberty and legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, On Target, and The Crow's Nest, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also available at sarahpalin.com by clicking the More tab. And like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Tanya Yoga 13, and at FBR ABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to breitbart.com/columnists/Kevin-Scholla. I'm also contributing to sarahpalin.com. Please check out my latest piece this week. Visit sarahpalin.com/author/Kevin-Scholla. Honored to be working on the governor's new site. I want to thank Tamara Colbert, Tanya Crow, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Looking forward to Kelly Carlson's return. Thanks to Hollywood, Jeanne Basone, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit facebook.com/Full Battle Rattle ABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lorianne Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.